everybody. My name is Barry McGuire, and I am a representative of the Whadjuk lands here for the Mural people. I am a Balladong, Whadjuk Yuad, Pinjarrab Kaniyang, Wardandi blooded man. Welcome to Burlo. Burlo is the traditional name for Perth here in Western Australia, and we would like to invite you to ISPA 2024. Now, let me tell you something about my people, about my land and my culture in the way that we share with many nations of the world that live here and that will come abroad. We come from the understanding of how do we fit, like nature is balanced. And through this balance, we have brought forth the existence of our songs, our performances, our dances, and everything to be able to pay homage and respect to that energy that has been here since the start of time. And so in this story, the story is of the Kuljak and the Mullaley, the swans in our country here. Waralo, biango, waralo, nyongolo, bele, 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 bele. Naragora, mudangora, nayago, biango, waralo. Bele, 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 bele. Karku, 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 karku. Boyo warba, kilangare danarano. Wawayale karo, wayare, nina magala, nina baro. Wayare, 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 wayare. Wumalo garaji, garaji, yagare, ngare, ngare. Wumalo garaji, garaji. Wumalo gara iraya ngare, wumalo gara bulgara ngare, bulgara ngare, 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 ngare. We have a rich tradition of storytelling, and our storytellers are still living. Over the centuries, we have brought our stories to the world. And now we want to invite you here to ISPA 2024 to share in our stories on our lands here in Burlo.
Welcome to ISPA Perth 2024 here in Western Australia. My name is Grace Chow and I'm an actor, writer and theatre maker based here, living and working in Perth. We're home to a diverse and dynamic range of artists and theatre spaces. Our arts festivals and companies are acclaimed across the globe, and our Fringe Festival is now the third largest in the world. Perth might be known as the most isolated city in the world, but our isolation only fuels our creativity. There really is no better place to connect with each other, with the land, and with our artists in one of our city's world-class venues. There's something about coming together in remote places that compels you to connect deeply. There's no better place than Perth for arts leaders to discuss the transformation of the performing arts. And at ISPA 2024, we'll be showcasing the bold examples of change from around the world. You'll feel right at home and connected to your colleagues. Together, we'll explore new possibilities of equity and abundance. Here in Perth, you can expect plenty to see and do, and not just in a theatre. Perth is a relaxed and friendly city where we love to gather after a show. From the delicious food and lively nightlife to the epic sunsets over the ocean, we welcome you all to share in the stunning natural beauty of this land, our rich heritage, and our diverse communities. And during ISPA, we reckon it'll be a great time to take a dip in the Indian Ocean, like a local. So come on down to Perth ISPA 2024. We can't wait to share our city, our stories, and our sunsets with you.
So I've been going to Australia probably for about 15 years, and for the first 10 years of that, all my friends and colleagues in Melbourne and Sydney consistently said, yeah, you don't want to go to Perth. It's not worth the flight. And I finally made it over there despite their objections. And I was blown away. It's really a remarkable city. There's a remarkable culture. and there's going to be a remarkable Congress. So please join me in welcoming Katherine Connor and Eva Mullaley, who are going to tell us a bit more about what you'll experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Katherine Connor, Executive Director for PAC Australia, your hosts for Perth ISPA in just a few short months. I do live and work on the lands of the Whadjuk Noongar Budja, and I'd like to thank Uncle Barry, who you've just seen in the video, and who holds us on Noongar country, for his warm welcome to you all from Perth. Thank you to ISPA for this amazing gathering here in New York. These are not just listening and learning experiences for me. These gatherings are a real tonic that our industry needs as we navigate through some pretty complex and challenging times. ISPA gatherings always prove to me that we are better together and no one is actually alone. If it's your first or your 15th, there are always learnings, always incredible people to meet, revelations to be had, and futures to discover together. So thank you, David and his fantastic team and Govan for creating the context for us to all come together. And we are absolutely thrilled to be picking up the reins and working with the ISPA team for the next Congress in Perth. Oh, and thank you for the excuse to crack out the winter coat again, which I promise you will not need in Perth. So, it does work, look at that. What do we know about Perth? Perth is the most isolated capital city in the world, but like Grace said, this just feeds Perth's creativity. There is something about creating work and bringing the industry together in a more remote location that creates a level of intimacy and personal connection and capacity to actually really explore the things that really matter. You may not also know, but Perth is also in the same time zone as 60% of the world's population. So we may be isolated, but we are still connected. You may also, oh, there you go. What can I promise you about Perth? Like I said, no winter coats, congress sessions and performances across a number of our internationally recognised venues, a trip or two to the beach, dipping your toes in the Indian Ocean, throwing yourself in the Indian Ocean if that's what takes your fancy, sunsets over that ocean, and local cultural experiences that connect deeply to Perth's natural environment. Another thing you may not know, our Kings Park is one of the world's largest inner city parks. It's 60 hectares larger than Central Park in New York. And many of you will also know Perth is the gateway to some of the world's most renowned wineries and foodie experiences. I'm pretty sure we're getting close to having to hire a bus for all the people who are saying they're going down to Margaret River to the wineries following the Congress. I'm looking at you, Colette Brennan. And of course, don't forget that Perth is actually the natural gateway into Australia from the Asia-Pacific region, so make sure you do take advantage of being in that region when you're making your plans for Perth. But of course, Perth is also home to some of Australia's greatest performing arts makers. We've lined up a full performance program for you to experience while in Perth, and I'm going to come to that in a sec. But I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about who your hosts are. PAC Australia. We are the national organisation for performing arts presenting in Australia. We're also a membership organisation. We represent Australian and New Zealand presenters, producers, artists and touring organisations. We run the National Performing Arts Conference, the Australian Performing Arts Exchange, and that's actually how I started my tenure with PAC Australia. Before I became the ED, I was the producer of our arts market. And I just want to reflect back that is actually my passion, bringing the sector together in forums like this. Not everyone can do that well. ISPA does that well, PAC Australia does that well, and it's a role we take really seriously. We recognise the investment to come to any gathering. You're investing your time, your energy, your money, so we promise to hold you well in our country and ensure there is a return on all those investments. So part of today is also to introduce you to the theme and the conversations you can expect while in Perth. Our theme for 2024 is Breakthrough. We'll be focusing on real-time examples of new international models of artistic and industry breakthroughs, whether that be through our evolution or our revolution. Navigating the deeply challenging contexts of recent years, we're going to platform brave examples of transformation and hopefully reinvigorate our passionate pursuit of our purpose and our purposeful pursuit of our passions. I was told to say that very slowly because there was a lot of P's in that. We'll be looking at what has worked and what was the journey to get there. How have our emerging and established performing arts leaders committed to change, possibly even failing forward and taking business as unusual into new spaces of equity and abundance for the rest of us to take away and expand upon? So it will all start a few days before the official Congress opening with a focused First Nations ceremony and gathering, the Anthony Field Academy, and the delivery of PAC Australia's first presenter development program intensive. Ask me about that later. Then we open the ISPA Congress on Tuesday the 30th of April with a welcome to country and opening ceremony, including a concert performance from incredible Australian artists Gina Williams and Guy G House. Our amazing producer, Eva Mullaley, who you'll meet in a minute, has also programmed an incredible lineup of works specifically for the ISPA program. There is an opening every night during the ISPA Congress and plenty of work to see before and after. Tickets for every opening performance is going to be included in your ISPA registration. So this is just a very quick sample of some of those programmed works. We're thrilled to be working with Black Dance and Karul Projects to present Thomas E.S. Kelly's extraordinary work, Silence. Did you notice how I paused? Because I was... It will be the West Australian premiere of that work following a huge and amazing Australian national tour. All right, well, speaking of black dance, okay, here we go. The Other Side of Me is a stunning dance work from one of Australia's greatest choreographers, Gary Lang from the NT Dance Company. This work was pitched at APAX late last year, so I can attest it's absolutely breathtaking and an unmissable work. I feel like I should, yeah. Songbird is a beautiful piece premiering during ISPA from the only West Australian Aboriginal theatre company, Yirrayakan, of which the entire artistic and creative team behind Songbird are young emerging artists. Wonderbox. This is an intimate piece from the company Sensorium Theatre, a company who create custom sensory theatre experiences specifically for young people with access needs. Their most recent work, Whoosh, was presented at Lincoln Centre here in New York just before the pandemic, so you may be familiar with their work. You'll be invited to become a puppeteer in a large-scale sculptural installation piece hand-woven with more than 1 kilometre of rope. String Symphony is a beautiful participatory work from Spare Parts Puppet Theatre. Delegates arriving a few days early will be invited to witness Barracking for the Umpire, a work written by Andrea Gibbs, a return season of this original Australian work from Black Swan State Theatre Company. I'm With Her is an incredible work from Victoria Midwinter Pitt, a real-life demonstration of the power of women to outlast, outwit and outmuscle the great ugly beast of sexism. It's a verbatim piece with interviews from 8 prominent Australian women, including Australia's first and only female Prime Minister. Oh, look what happened. Including Australia's first and only female Prime Minister, Julia Gillard. Look at that. Truth Machine from Counterpilot creates intimate performances that merge technology and storytelling with a specific focus on audiences. It's another participatory piece about what it looks like, and you will be asked to do it, to take a lie detector test with a complete stranger. Yeah, that could be interesting. Maybe that should be after the networking functions. To explore the truth in a post-truth world. And in a crossover right at the beginning of your time in Perth, the City of Perth will be running the Boorloo Heritage Festival, an arts and cultural takeover of the city, and we thank City of Perth for their support of ISPA and the opening program. So there will be even more on offer and announced in the coming months, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a sense of just how much there will actually be to see and do in Perth. And before I wrap, here is our amazing Congress producers, Eva Mullaley and Louise Coles. Louise, I see you. We will be hanging around in the foyer and extend an open invitation to all of you to come and join us for a drink tomorrow at the Swift Hibernian on East 4th Street. It's going to be our official, or unofficial, word of mouth ISPA after party. And just a huge, huge, huge shout out to our Australian colleagues in the room who are ISPA fellows or PAC board members, our funding partners from Creative Australia, members of our ISPA planning committee. I won't name them all, but I'm sure if you'd like to hear more about Perth, they'd be happy to tell you all the reasons why Perth is going to be absolutely unmissable. So find Katie from Spare Parts Theatre. There she is. Okay, this is going to take a while. So Katie from Spare Parts Theatre, Tim from Back to Back, Marinda from Black Dance, Simon Hinton from Merrygong, Dan Riley from Australian Dance Theatre, Louisa from Country Arts, Govan, Colette, Richard, Zainab, Zohar, and of course Eva, Louisa and I are around and would love to talk to you more. So the final piece of business, we are enormously, enormously grateful to the funding partners who are supporting ISPA in Perth. I won't name them all, but I did want to reflect back to the room the level of support behind bringing ISPA to Perth. We are all ready and we are all beyond eager to welcome you to our shores. Registration is going to open in mid-February, but we do encourage you to make those plans now. Book that travel, book those hotels. There are discounts for hotels available on the Congress webpage, on PAC's website at the moment. It will be on the ISPA website before long, so we encourage you to get on with your planning. But to close, I would like to invite Perth ISPA producer Eva Mullaley to join me on stage. Eva is an incredible and renowned Australian artist in her own right and has composed a poem for the occasion.
Perth. Sometimes in Perth it feels we are on the edge of the earth, harbouring beauty and revelation. So come to Perth. We'll show you what it's like to have all of your heart in a city, how we thrive in art in our isolation. Sometimes in Perth it feels we are on the precipice of breakthrough, standing and looking towards innovation. So come to Perth. Bring your colleagues along and let's talk about how we all work, how we champion and present creation. Sometimes in Perth it feels that no one else can see the bubble of diverse thinkers that feed our stories and imagination. Immerse yourself in the culture of Perth. We welcome you. Wanju Kuling Babalu. Let us hold you like our ancestors would on Wajak Buja in the Noongar Nation. Sometimes in Perth it feels like the rest of the world is missing out on the vibrancy and beauty. There is nowhere like Perth, no imitation. See you in Perth in late April through May. You'll see what our city is about, an inspirational city to gather for all in arts administration. So come to Perth, to the next exciting Congress. Come and experience ISPA in Perth, and let's continue these amazing conversations. Thank you.